welcome back everybody to you know what the hell we're playing, you know how to read title cards. So we have plotline to resolve. Yes, Tataru, what is going on? I'm glad you came and found us this time instead of being like, oh my god, I forgot to tell you, holy shit. Why can't we call him? I mean, I suppose, you know, our little shell phones, you know, aren't connected in the network, but you would think we would have thought about this before we even left in the first place. Hindsight is 20/20. Alright, so to the Waking Sands we go. Alright, so, back to our old haunt, where we kind of unceremonially left everybody last time. They're probably all still here. You know, Ariage, Papashan, all them. Probably still chilling out here. Probably still taking care of Raban. And yep, there they are. Hey, what's up, guys? Well, you're looking better.
No thanks are necessary, General. I trust your recuperation continues apace.
I cannot complain. Thanks to Higiri and her ministrations, I've regained much of the strength I lost during my imprisonment.
I gather you have made progress in the search for Her Grace.
Aye, some good fortune at last. A few days past, Dulala informed us that a sizable shipment of alchemical supplies had been delivered to the palace.
With Papashan's assistance, I set out to ascertain the source and nature of the shipment. My inquiries led me to Frondale's frontistery. There, I learned that an order had been placed for a curious substance designed to sustain patients trapped in death-like slumber. An invention of the former head alchemist, apparently.
A death-like slumber? This cannot be a coincidence.
It lends some weight to Dulala's claims, aye. Her Grace is likely somewhere within the palace, abed but alive.
So why haven't we stormed the palace already? It's not like we're banned from the city.
Before making any attempt to extricate the Sultana, however, it seemed prudent to learn what manner of substance was used to induce her torpor. To that end, I made inquiries as to the whereabouts of the one most like to have administered it. The lady-in-waiting, Meriel. We sent for you as soon as we learned of her location. All that remains is to apprehend the woman.
We shall find our cat's paw in the Silver Bazaar. But we must tread carefully. The market is not the bustling place it once was, and someone is sure to mark our coming. Should they inform the monetarists, we'll have a fight on our hands.
Are we sure about that?
We must be prepared for the worst, and being short an arm, I thought it wise to take another in its stead. What say you, Warrior of Light? Will you lend me yours?
Raban, you have Yugiri. You have Papashan, even though he's retired. You have your son, Pippin. Why do you need my help? I mean, I'm glad you called me and are keeping me in the loop here, but it's not like you're for want of skilled people over here.
Then I pity the bastard that stands in our way. Come, my friends, for Nanamo and for Ulda!
So yeah, way to undermine the very people who have been helping you find her in the first place, Raban. That was kind of a shitty move. Yeah, you know what? Why does no one mention this? Obviously, since they have a shipment, obviously the potion needs to be, you know, keep being administered to keep her in a death-like slumber, no? Alpha, you're intelligent enough to figure this out. So why don't we, I don't know, the antidote might be, I don't know, letting the damn thing wear off? I mean, granted, that still, like, involves, you know, apprehending the people, you know, responsible for this. And or stopping the administering of the potion. But it's not like it's not necessarily like a poison where we need an antidote. The very thing might be just let what's in her system just run its course, and she should wake up, right? Eventually. I mean, it may take time, but yeah. It's like being drunk, you know, it just takes time for it to metabolize out of your system. Why is that not a possibility here? I mean, I guess for time reasons, but I wish somebody would mention, you know, maybe we could, you know, do this and see if it wear off, but, you know, we don't exactly know if that, you know, it's something like cortisone, where, you know, you have too much of it and your body eventually stops producing it itself and probably cause more problems than weaning yourself off it. So it could be a case of that as well. So we don't want to risk killing her by letting it wear off if we do need to antidote it or more slowly wean her off. I don't know. But I'm surprised nobody actually thinks of this. So yada yada, she's still there. Okay, so we need to travel to Le Silver Bazaar, and the easiest way is just cut through all to Western Thanalan. Alright, so let us see what we can find. It's not a very big place, so... Yeah, so if we're not 100% sure if she's still here, then why are all of us here? Because, yeah, she could just, you know, I don't know, run? But I kind of like how everyone's actually in various parts of town, instead of just all, like, sitting here waiting and asking us to question everybody. So it's kind of implied that, they're observing the situation themselves. I mean, maybe they're, oh yeah, okay, that's not Oriage, never mind. You know, just kind of observing and making sure she doesn't, you know, make a break for it or anything like that. Ramon, calm down, okay? It'll be okay. Yeah, see? Papa Sean's got the right of it here. And the last person I think is way down here by the fishing docks, yep. But no, we don't want to drag her back. We just, you know, want to question her, Raban. Okay? We're not going to strangle her. We're not going to hold her hostage. We just want to talk. Well, that was easy. Thank you. You are very nice. You get a cookie. And then some. We may have to borrow somebody else's kitchen for that, so I hope you will not be disappointed to find I might have to mail order that to you. Say, let's just walk right into her house. Doesn't even lock the door. Let's just walk right up behind her and spook her to death. Not even knock on the door. Just walk right into her house. What the hell is wrong with us? Alfredo, are you okay?
You are Meriel, the Sultana's former lady-in-waiting?
I know no one of that name. Pray excuse me.
Well, your text box would beg to differ. Yes, just leave us in her house. Raban, calm down.
General Alden!
Papa-shan, stop him. Like, just kick him in the kneecaps or something. Stop him.
We will have the truth from you, girl.
She has a name, Raban. This is not an interrogation. Let's just sit down. We'll have a cup of coffee, and we'll talk this out like civil human beings. Raban? Raban? No.
Mayhap it would be better coming from me.
Where the hell did you come from?
Lolorito, you'd best talk fast.
Okay, we need to hold him down or something like that before he loses it.
As you know, Teledji Xanatos's Cartano reclamation bill was no more than a facade. A means to get his grubby little hands on that Allagan monstrosity Omega. When he learned of Nanamo's intention to abdicate, however, he was forced to amend his plans. Suddenly, assassination seemed the most promising way to further his ambitions. I am told Teledji had discovered a maid in whose veins ran the blood of House Thorn. A new, more pliable puppet to sit the throne. 'Twould have caused an uproar, of course, but few could have contested her claim. 'Twas plain that Teledji's wild machinations had outgrown our ability to control them. So I decided to usurp his scheme and left the fool to seal his own demise.
You crafty little bastard.
And what of Nanamo?
Oh, I have no desire to harm her grace. 'Twould profit me little to destabilize our government. Thus did I employ young Mariel here to administer a potent sleeping potion in place of a poison. You should know, General, that your dear friend Ilberd was fully aware of my plan. I had him lie about the assassination as a means to prime your rage against Teledji. We weren't entirely sure how you would react, but things went rather better than expected.
So, yeah, they pissed him off on purpose. Oh, look at that shit-eating grin.
You conniving little worm. You had your claws in the Crystal Braves before their first recruit had sworn to serve.
General, calm down. Calm down.
But of course, when a new game begins, 'tis only prudent to have a piece on the board. Ilberd was mine. Truth be told, a significant proportion of the Braves' initial endowment was also mine. With such large sums moving about, 'twas a rather trifling matter to disguise my own contribution.
Shell companies. Pretty much. Fucking shell companies.
Ah, Ilberd. I secured his services with a promise to support his cause once my authority had been solidified. I swear, the man thinks of naught but prizing Alamigo from the grasp of the Empire.
Yeah, he pretty much just told us that.
Unlike you, General, the poor fellow seems quite unable to forsake the land of his forefathers. Mayhap that's why he called you a traitor to your people and a disgrace to your homeland, amongst other things. What was it he always compared you to? Oh, yes, an overgrown lapdog begging for scraps at the Sultana's table. Oh, how we laughed. Alas, Ilberd's entertaining little outbursts eventually gave way to wearisome tirades, and the zealous brute became rather unruly. I had no wish to see you executed, you understand, but he would not take no for an answer. Rest assured, his employment with me has long since ended.
Which brings us neatly to the present. What say you, General? Both you and the Sultana are alive. We have one corpse and one fugitive. And preparations have been made to restore your good name. Shall we cry quits and start again with a blank ledger?
The hells we will! Do you honestly expect me to forgive and forget? After all you've done? You're guilty of high treason!
Well, no, actually, he's not. Because he didn't do anything.
Stay your blade, Master Alden. You yourself are not innocent. Or have you forgotten your own crime in executing Teledji without trial?
Oh, snap. She got you there, son.
Though you acted out of loyalty to the Sultana, such deeds are in violation of both the word and spirit of the law. If you would, Lord Lolorito?
So how long have you known about all this shit, Dulala, huh?
This potion will wake the Sultana from her slumber. Consider it a gesture of conciliation. You will find her grace resting comfortably within her private chambers. Should you doubt my word, I shall willingly accompany you to the palace as your hostage.
Wow, he's actually not gonna fight Lolorito on this.
I like not your motives, Lolorito. But you saved the Sultana's life, and for that, you have my gratitude.
See? See, he's not guilty of treason because he didn't fucking do anything. But good to see you've calmed down, General. I'm glad.
Rauban Aldin, you are hereby reinstated as General of the Immortal Flames. The citizens of Ulda shall once more be united under Nanamo Ulnamo, and together we shall usher in a new age of prosperity.
Okay, yeah, just who are you talking to? This isn't a press conference over here. We didn't technically ask her to come with us. I mean, we literally just barged into her house and be like, and we're about to, you know, question her or whatever, and we get totally got interrupted. She's probably like 18,000 shades of confused over here. Depending on, you know, how deep she was, you know, in the plan in the first place. But, no poem, huh? Alright, well, whatever. Alright. Apologies if this episode is going to be lengthy. I just want to close this chapter out. So we can say goodbye to this for good. Still a poem? Okay, alright. Yeah, I would assume so. I'm not sure why we didn't, you know, go up to him and just ask him in the first place. Considering we suspected from the start that, you know, the Sultana was probably kept within the palace. Hello, everyone. Is everyone else already inside? Yes. We kind of went through this quite a while ago when, you know, we first met the Admiral. And you were like, yeah, why aren't we fugitives? And she's like, well, yeah, we kind of told the monitors that we were not having any of their shit, and they better have fucking good damn evidence if they're going to accuse the Scions of the Seventh Dawn of regicide. And in the light of no evidence at the time, because obviously we didn't do anything, that the charges were fucking dropped and were never, well, technically they weren't dropped because they were never brought forward in the first place. We went through this. You okay, buddy? And surprisingly, they let him in here alone. I guess I gotta give him credit for that. I mean, it's possible he asked that he do this himself, but... Look how her bed is so massive. And look, guys, no shoes, no socks. It's like the first time that I think I've ever seen that in the game. So I'm wondering if the original slumber potion also has, you know, some kind of sustenance in it, so, you know, she doesn't, you know, kind of starve to death in her makeshift coma over here. You know, they don't exactly have, you know, an IV drip of nutrients going into her. And holy shit, it worked. Oh, that was pretty, quick.
I was having the longest dream.
"'Tis time to wake up, Your Grace. Another day begins in Thanalan, and the sun blazes bright upon the sands."
Are we gonna have a good cry now? Let's have a good cry. Come on, everybody. Come on, you know you want to. Come on.
Her Grace is awoken. The palace physician assures me she is none the worse for her slumber.
She's probably confused as hell, though.
I believe Her Grace will soon resume her plans to place the government of Uldar into the hands of its citizens. Whatever path she chooses to take, I shall walk it with her. And we shall tread slowly, lest the nation be unsettled in our wake.
So, is she still planning on, like, making abdication announcement, or is that kind of semi on hold for now? They kind of don't mention that.
Her Grace's compassion is a shining beacon to us all. But what our city truly thrives upon is competition. 'Tis in the struggle against our rivals that opportunities are seized and fortunes made. And with the Empire on the offensive once more, now would hardly seem the time to turn our system of government upon its head.
Are you privy to new intelligence, my lord?
I would hardly call it new. Remind me, what was the name of that enormous Imperial warship which met its end in Mordona? Oh, wait, I have it. The Agrias. Yes, well, 'twould appear that the Garleans have been hard at work on another such vessel.
Well, I would think that would be kind of obvious, because You know, the Agarist was destroyed, I don't know, a decade and a half ago. It's not like it was just destroyed, you know, yesterday and they haven't had a time to build a replacement. They've had plenty of time to build a replacement. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, even though they lost it, they technically thought they killed fucking Midgard-Solmr in the process, okay? Destroyed airship or not, that is not something you want to squander. That is still half a victory for them. Of course you would build another such airship, because if not for nothing, well, even if you lose it, the fucking ceruleum tanks will blow shit up. But I digress.
How close are they to completing this ship? Is it operational?
Its maiden flight was a success, I hear. I should imagine Emperor Varys is eager to see how it performs in battle.
Again, they've had as long as 15 years to work on this thing.
My lords and ladies, I move that it is time to repair the damage caused by Teledji and prepare our great nation to repel the Empire once more.
You do realize 3 members of the Syndicate are kind of missing over here? Should we not invite them if this is our plan? Or did you guys kind of already decide on that and we're just waiting on confirmation for like all this other crap to happen and be like, okay, yeah, it's a go now.
'Tis well that the Sultana has awoken. The Syndicate yet needs to put its house in order, but 'twould seem the worst of the confusion has passed. Uldar has taken control of its future, and I must do the same. I have decided to disband the Crystal Braves.
Well, technically they're not yours anymore. They were kind of commandeered from underneath you. Do you not remember this?
Among the recruits, there were those who supported our order's goals and convictions with all sincerity. 'Tis my hope that these loyal men and women will choose to remain our allies in the battles to come. As for those who sided with the traitor, Ilberd, they shall be hunted down and held to account for their crimes. It is my earnest hope that they will surrender themselves peaceably when the time comes, though I think it unlikely.
Well, given that they tried to kill us, yeah, I think you're kind of right about that.
Ah, my all-conquering Crystal Braves. The model army meant to pave the way for a single unified grand company of Eorzea. That so high an ideal should be brought so low. I need not tell you how deeply the betrayal stung me. Yet I see now that it was mine own naivety and pride which allowed the Braves to fall prey to corruption.
Yeah, you didn't see that now. You saw that back then when you first had your breakdown. Did you forget about this?
As ever, it is to your own shining example that I turn for inspiration. Like you, I mean to stand firm in the face of hardship and give mine all for the cause. Let us resume the search for our missing comrades, that we might come together to shine the light of dawn across the realm once more. The role of Crystal Brave Commander suited me ill, and I shall play it no longer. Henceforth, I shall be no more or less than Alphino, proud member of the Scions.
So I actually completely forgot about this, that there's another segment after this. So I'm just going to complete this real quick and then I'll just get to what I wanted to talk about in the first place and why I'm kind of extending this episode. Alright, so thankfully we don't need to glamour our belt. Oh wait, I need to put it on first. Nope, I want inventory. It sucks not having a mouse here. There we go. Okay, so obviously we'll continue on and with his little try in the next episode. I actually completely forgot about it in the heat of the moment. But I want to just take a minute to discuss this whole fake assassination attempt because it pretty much just ends here. Now, when this first obviously came to light, there was a bunch of people who were touting and will still tout that she was dead this whole time and that the writers backpedal to quote unquote, you know, bring her back to life and whatnot. And to those people, I have to say this, and I'm going to be a little bit blunt. You're dumb. Okay? You're dumb. Alright? And I don't mean in the sense that you're not intelligent. I mean in the sense that you obviously have no idea how things in the writing and, you know, game world building actually work. Because especially in a game so lore and story heavy as this is, the story is your backbone of literally everything. It is the first thing you do, and everything else builds upon that. What takes so long is obviously it's a game, they have shit to program in, and by virtue of being an MMO, they have to program even more crap on top of that, because it's not a single player game, you know, they have so many more variables to account for, and that's what takes all the time. But the bare backbone skeleton of the story, as in plot point for plot point, is already well written in advance, okay? They actually announced, and this is almost like about 6 months ago as the time of this recording, when the 4.0 Stormblood announcement came, it was actually casually mentioned by the developers that they already actually have early ideas storyboarded for 5.0, okay? Already. And even though, even before that information was announced, you know, knowing what I do about, you know, story and world building and whatnot, this whole, at least as far as 3.0 itself is concerned, this was long since written before they even announced Heavensward to the public. This was already decided. Nananamo's ultimate fate of her actually, you know, coming out of this ordeal alive was already known before we even know there was an assassination attempt was going to take place in the first place. Okay? And to deny that means just you're dumb and you're just ignorant of, you know, how these things work in, you know, the writing and the development world. That being said, I can understand on multiple levels why people are upset that it turned out she's alive, and utterly in the end, besides Raban losing an arm, there's literally almost no consequences to what's happened here, except, you know, what the hell happened to the rest of the Scions. It doesn't affect the system of government in Ul'dah really any. That doesn't really actually go anywhere and everything. So in the end, it pretty much almost comes out to everything's all fucking hunky-dory, and what the hell was the point of that 45 minutes worth of cutscenes and everything like that. So I can understand some anger, alright, toward that. And to which one of the things I will say is, while I think it was over the top, and I think they kind of dusted this too under the rug a little bit, number one, it was foreshadowed, okay? There's a lot going on in that scene, and there's a lot of misdirection, but pretty much everything, how we, you know, is explained, how it plays out here, is foreshadowed in those cutscenes at the Bloody Banquet, both before and after. All the info you need to figure out this plot are actually in there. However, they are a bit too subtly hidden, and a lot of it actually ties into who Lolorito is as a character. Now, obviously, in the interest of time, and because nobody wants me to sit and watch me stare at a screen while I explain Lolorito's character, for 20 straight minutes, I have prepared a text dump, which is either in the description herself or linked to via the description, depending on how long the wall of text actually goes, because it goes a long way to explain why the events happen the way they do, even though they're kind of, you know, like I said, foreshadowed. But a lot of it relies on knowing who he is and what he is capable of, and the game hasn't really done a great job with that. What character development he does get is very effective, but if you're not a person like me who actually reads into all these character dynamics very heavily, it is easy to miss. So I can understand people being upset by both missing it and by virtue of the next point of what was the point of this all. To which case, I can kind of forgive a little bit, even though I think the developers and the writers went overboard to be over dramatic about this whole thing. It does showcase one valuable thing that does come both up with Midgard Solmar as previously in Keeper of the Lake, as well as, you know, partway with Estinian. And in that we are blessed by Heidelin, okay? Even though we've kind of temporarily lost part of our blessing, even though we still have the Echo and all that stuff. And that we're Herlaki, and while we are powerful, we are not a god. We are not a demigod. We are still a mortal. We are still bound, just like any other mortal, by the laws of the land and her people, just as everybody else is. What those scenes show is vulnerability, that we are not invincible, and that we need to stop taking advantage of the fact that we believe we are, as well as other characters need to stop, you know, comporting, oh, warrior of light. No, we're not a freaking god. We shouldn't be revered as a god. We just happen to be a very skilled adventurer who happens to have a gift that you know, we are not the only ones who have this gift. You know, we just have, you know, the perfect the perfect storm of combinations and can accomplish these great things. But it didn't necessarily have to be us. It could have been literally anybody else. You know, we are just the one who, just by luck or whatever, or how Heidelin chooses, you know, chooses people, if I can speak English right now. You know, we just drew the right straw, pretty much. I mean, it could have been Elfino, it could have been Bartholomew over here, it could have been fucking Rabon, it could have been fucking Teledji for all we know, that could have been, you know, blessed with these great powers and ended up becoming the warrior of, you know, the so-called warrior of light. There's nothing really special about us in particular in that, you know, we were born to be the chosen one or anything like that. You know, the circumstances just align right, and that's how things are. But again, we're not gods and we're not invincible, and this is part of the things that show that. And this is also important, that even though the game has kind of plot point pretty much had our enemies be in the form of evil empires, primals, and Asians, this also shows that people who are your enemies and people who are out to get you are not just, you know, big empires or supernatural beings with, you know, abilities far beyond our confirmation. They're ordinary people in our own backyard. And we actually can't forget that fact at all. And even though, again, I'm probably reading a little bit too much into this, it's very possible, but I think the scene actually goes a long way to show that, you know, there's darkness and enemies and bad circumstances lurking around every corner, and that despite the amount of power we do have in our mortal shell, we do not have the power to control everything. You know, we are not a lawmaker. We are, like I said, we are still bound to the law of the land and her people, and we can't escape that. We have to accept that reality, and we can't just go barging in and defeating enemies wherever they are. You know, there's more complicated things at play here. So yeah. Yeah. I'm actually out of breath here. But yeah, if you want to obviously know more information about, you know, how things played out in that scene, obviously, again, you know, you feel free to read my what's going on with pretty much Lolorito and how this all ties together and makes sense, and why he acts the way he does. Which actually I find very, well, at least to me, kind of very interesting, because I think it does explain, you know, why things played out the way it did, and why he's all like, yeah, okay, whatever, and all that good junk. So I've taken up enough of your time for this episode. So thank you for watching, everybody, and I shall see you next time.